Hello, David Turner here, just letting you know that next week's show is another roundtable with Matt and Sean, and for that to work, we need your feedback. Do you agree with what we say? Have we missed anything out? Have I said something stupid? Let us know. You could tweet the show by adding hashtag StarCalls to your tweet, or you can tweet our Twitter account at ComputerGamePod, but it's probably best you still use that hashtag because it's the only way we can pick them up. Alternatively, you can email the show starcalls@thecomputergameshow.com. That's starcalls@thecomputergameshow.com, and we will read them out on next week's show. Anyway, let's get straight to the call. Hey, let's get straight to it. Let's go.
Hello, is that James Farley?
Hello, David Turners.
It is, I don't know who that is. This is your boss here, just to let you know that we are going to fire you. I'm afraid we've heard of a podcast that you're on, and it's not very good, so I'm afraid you're fired. Have your desk cleared by tomorrow, please.
That seems a bit excessive. I mean,
well, there's other things as well. Union. There's other things. It's not just a podcast. You smell badly as well. So I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go. There will be no payout. Just convinced. You were totally convinced I'd done you. It's me, really. It's David.
It's you, David.
Yeah, it's me. I was joking all along.
Oh, no. I feel such a fool. It's, And
I'm recording, so that's done, yeah. That'll be embarrassing when this goes out.
Oh, don't release it. Terrible.
How you doing? All right.
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
A little bit knocked with you.
Why?
How do you not know why?
I don't know why. What have I done now?
Well, I mean, I watched Revenge of the Sith on Sunday. It's now Thursday.
I know, but
I text you, I went, can I call? And you were like, oh, not tonight. And then on Monday, I said, when do you want to do this call then? You went, Thursday. I was like, for fuck's sake. And then last night you text me and said, are we doing it tonight? And I was like, well, I can do, but you said Thursday. Oh, good, Thursday. Yeah, let's keep it Thursday. I'm like, man. And anyway, I was on the bus this morning looking at my notes, and I mean, half of them don't make sense now. I've forgotten most of it, but we'll try and bumble through, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, I think I should say something in response to that, because...
What?
I mean,
sorry?
Well, no, because what's nonsense about this is that originally I said Thursday, and then I said, well, maybe because I've had to rewatch this film because it's been a long time since I last saw it.
Right.
So I had to sit down and watch it. It's a very long film. I mean,
it is quite long, isn't it? 2 hours, 20 minutes, this one. Although it's not as long as Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot longer as well. I mean, apparently it was going to be over 3.5 hours.
Well, that becomes evident towards the end of the film, doesn't it?
Yeah. But then I did manage to finish it, so I was like, oh, maybe we could do it Wednesday instead. And you were like, no, I don't want to. And then that was it.
What? That's just a lie, though, James.
What do you mean? It's not a lie. You didn't say that in as many words, but
so that's
kind of intimated
that's
that
what we know as a lie, then, isn't it? I mean,
I'm extrapolating from what you were like from the tone of your text.
Right. Okay. So here's the actual text conversation. Are we recording tonight? ? That's from you. Me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, but you said Thursday ? Thumbs up. That's the reply I got. So I sent back a ? And then you put, yeah, I couldn't remember. Thursday would be better. All right. So tell me there where I said I don't want to do Wednesday.
No, it's because it's the way you just said, I mean, I can, but you said Thursday. I mean,
exactly.
That sounds like somebody who's a bit annoyed.
No, it was me me saying, I can, but I didn't think you could. You said Thursday, and then you just went, thumbs up. No, that means, what the... Listen, if you remember back to when we were doing Dark Calls, you called me on a night where we had company over, and I had to scupper into the bedroom to take your call, and then you were saying, I need you to check something in the game, So I had to go in the front room where we had company, unplug my Xbox 360, drag it into the bedroom, plug it all in, and then call you back. I did all that for you there and then. You're like, yeah, give me a call back in a couple of weeks, mate. I'm a little bit busy. It's not how this should work. You should be on call. You should be on call. You should be prepared.
I had to rewatch it, didn't I? I mean, you've seen this film now. You know how it is. It's like I wasn't really looking. I mean, Dark Souls was a good game. This is, certainly better than this is a film.
You didn't like this one then?
Should we just go through it?
Yeah, okay.
Do you want me to give my verdict or not? Like what I think of it?
No, maybe we should just go through it and then we'll sum it up at the end.
Okay.
Okay, remember how this works, James. Don't just start bringing up things at the end of the film mid-sentence. Okay, wait. And remember that I wrote these as I was watching it, not after I'd seen it. So a lot of it doesn't make sense. Right, okay. And I would like to make I'd like to start with a question. What was the reaction to the opening text to this? The text scroll.
I don't remember it being very negative or anything.
No one's like, it's not gone down in history or anything like that. It's not like...
No, certainly not. No.
Because I am almost 100% convinced that George Lucas wrote this bit, the scrolling text to this film, while he was fucking hammered. Because if you read it's just rambling nonsense. It starts with war. Like, okay. Then there's a bit, there's like a sentence mid-paragraph that just goes, there are heroes on both sides. And it's like, okay. It's like really weird. And then it was written as if we weren't supposed to know that Palp was also Darth Sidious. Do you know what I mean? It was like, it's what, are you trying to keep up this pretense but we know from the first episode, or what?
I mean, of the opening crawls, the one that's the most infamous is the one from the Phantom Menace, because of the fact that it's so like, it's like there is a trade dispute.
Yeah, I mean, it's boring. It's boring. But this one, I was reading it, just going, George, you either wrote this on a treadmill, like when your blood pressure was like way too high, your heart rate was way too high, or you did it when you were hammered. Because, whoa, so it's all happening, and there's the heroes on both sides. Okay, all right, George, calm down. Just calm down. Let's get to the film. I could put, wow, that opening shot of the ship is stunning. Oh my, Now we're talking. The war looks incredible. There's Anakin, still sounds like a bell end. Jesus, this is incredible. Ships blowing up and that, really getting the blood pumping. So, I mean, I've put this is a later note, but I'll bring it up now. This might be the best opening to any Star Wars film I've seen so far. In fact, It probably is. Oh my God, James, it looks so good. Well, did you not think? Like, when you think about the openings to the films, right? So the very first scenes in episode 4, that was just them on the start.
No, it's the ship being attacked by the Star Destroyer.
Right, okay, yeah. That's
incredible at the time, because you've got like the rumbling of the thing like coming over the top of you and everything.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a good, solid opening. The opening to episode 5, where does that start? Just on the snowy mountain, right?
Yeah.
There's a bit... Episode 3 was Darth turning up on a construction site, right? Now, I'm not saying these are worse films, don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about the very first shots of the films. The opening to episode 1 was them coming up in the lift. Was it? No, that's episode 2. Episode 2 was them coming up in the lift, and he's like, "Ooh, I can't wait to fucking see her. Oh my God." Episode 1, I can't remember the very opening to that.
That's when they go to the Trade Federation ship.
Yeah. When they just walk into the ship, right? And then they're sitting around a table drinking tea. So I think...
they've got a bad feeling about it, though.
They've got a bad feeling about it. But I think I am pretty... I find it hard to argue against that this is the best opening to a Star Wars film out of the first 6. Because you're in... There's, like, the shot of the ship. There's fucking, like, so much action being packed onto the scene. And it all looks... absolutely incredible, like ships blowing up and flying. I thought it was wonderful. I can't believe you're not enthusiastic about it.
Okay, so shall I see what I've got written down here?
Messy, too much.
I did actually say it, because I said I thought the opening wasn't bad, although the fighters section was a visual mess.
It wasn't. It was supposed to be a visual mess. It was supposed to be like fucking everything going off everywhere. It wasn't supposed to be a ballet. It was like a rock concert. I don't know where I was going with that. a rock
It's
concert.
it's too much, and that's one of the big problems with these films in terms of visual effects. Is
Not
that
during a
too
big
much going
space
on.
battle. Fine. It wasn't like it was cutting about all over the place. You could follow it. It would cut to Anakin and Obi-Wan in the ships and stuff. That was all cool.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, the acting was shocking again, and clearly Anakin was a bit of a bellend again. But you know, I thought for an opening scene, Jesus, that blew me away. I thought it was really good. I also put catchphrase has no meaning anymore, because I think it was when they were flying into the ship and the doors were closing or something.
Yeah.
And like Anakin pulls up at the last minute and they're just about to smash their ship, and he goes, "Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this." Again, like on the last film, you don't have a bad feeling about this, you're in trouble. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You've just chucked it in there. It's ridiculous.
It's. I think that doesn't it get said several times in this film as well.
I can't remember.
Like,
I think I only wrote it down once. So, right, okay. Why the fuck is the robot wearing a cape, and why is he coughing? Obviously, we find out about the coughing later, but we'll get to that. But it was a bit weird.
I'll tell you what, though. Do you know that's George Lucas's cough?
I did what?
That's George Lucas's cough.
What do you mean?
Okay, that sounds.
He's not
General
voicing.
Grievous
He's
makes.
not voicing that character, is he?
No, he's not voicing the character, but the cough is his cough. Because apparently, when they were filming, he had a bad cough, and then he liked the sound of it, and then so he got them to record it, and that was General Grievous's cough.
Okay. What? Are they just dicking about at this point?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, they just don't give a shit anymore, do they? And that runs that follows the theme of they just make last minute decisions, don't they, and just chuck shit in like fuck it. Right, okay, but again, even though we find out something, I don't know why a robot's wearing a cape. Surely that's just bad. Why would he wear a cape?
Why not? Why can't he wear a cape?
I mean, yeah, I'm being silly. There's bigger sort of legit. I mean, if we're nailing this down, right? Yeah. I would say you don't put a robot in a cape because it's loose material that can get into parts. Mm-hmm. Okay,
but
so
then I forget it's going to get caught on things, yeah.
Yeah, get caught on a loose screw, James. But no, I mean it's being silly. It's a silly space thing in it, so I can't. Shut up, Dave. Ha ha ha! Obi-Wan proper stitching up R2-D2 radio while he's hiding. I thought that was quite good. I don't know if it was intentionally good, but I thought it was quite good. Mainly because Obi-Wan was just really ridiculous with it all. Like R2-D2 hiding from those two robots, and he's going, R2, are you there? R2, R2. He's not there. He's not there. I don't know where he's got. I hope he's not hiding, because this will really give away his R2. Are you there, R2? I was proper pissing myself. I thought it was great, even though again, obviously not a highlight of the film for you. Watching the Dooku fight, it's like watching a football match. That was weird, right?
How so?
Because he's sitting there. There's one bit where he says something like, he kills, that's it, because two droids come down during that fight, and Obi-Wan kills them both, and he cuts to power, but he goes like, yeah. It was just like really weird. You didn't watch the film then, surely? Did you have it on in the background or something?
No, I did watch it, absolutely.
How have you not picked up on that? Watch that scene again. There's a bit where like Obi-Wan goes up some stairs, he chops the two robots, and it cuts to Palpatine sitting down in that chair going, yeah, like it's just really weird, and he keeps like moving around and like looking as if he's watching a football match.
Well, no, he keeps like muttering as well, doesn't he?
Am I getting anything out of you tonight, or what? What's up? Do you not want to be here?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. You sound like you got the right hump.
No, I'm waiting for you to. I want to hear what you got to say about this.
Okay, all right.
Start launching into it.
Obi-Wan getting crushed looked weird. It looked like it was a dummy or something. Did you see that? You know, he gets crushed by that thing that falls down.
Yeah.
I swear it cuts and they just put like a Harry Hill style dummy underneath whatever's falling. It sort of just bounces off it. It just looks weird. Watch that bit again.
It's probably CGI, but yeah.
Yeah. What about this bit? You must have picked up this bit. So Anakin takes down Dooku. Dooku's on the floor on his knees. Anakin puts a lightsaber either side of his neck, and Palpatine goes, kill him now. And then Anakin says, I shouldn't. And then Palpatine goes, do it. This is a running thing.
He sort of just goes, do it.
Yeah, but that's what it says. Like, do it like that. But it's just in a completely right.
Yeah, but he's doing his evil Palpatine thing, isn't he?
That actor is bizarre throughout this whole film.
Well,
He's bizarre. I mean, do you remember back on Return of the Jedi, I said the voice acting, like, his performance is weird, right? It's odd. It reminded me of a granddad or whatever. And it wasn't too bad in episode 1 and 2. This one, he just goes batshit. Like, it's so bizarre.
But I mean, later on, there is a fantastic bit, I think, with him in, though.
All right, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that we'll get to, yeah.
But it's just, do it.
No, but that's his, like, him being the Emperor thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, that's
how
fine.
He switches over.
But does it need to be so, like, insanely
so
weird? Like, yeah, it's so obvious. It's like, oh no, you should kill him. Why is he just making it weird? Like, it just made me laugh. It was just odd.
But that's one of the main problems with the film, though, in general, is that it like telegraphs all of that stuff far too much, like throughout.
I guess.
Like how evil things are, and that's also one of the biggest problems with Anakin as well, is the fact that he's so credulous, like throughout the entire film.
He doesn't feel human, does he?
No, not at all.
But I think I get to that. Didn't expect Dooku to die so early, to be honest, because it seemed like a big plot point, and then all of a sudden he's dead. He's got no head.
What do you think of that, though? Because I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I thought the whole fight bit was pretty cool. The fact there was two of them taking him on, and you knew he was going to die or at least get away. It would have been silly if he got away again. But some of the banter between him and Anakin was a bit weak.
The banter in the whole of this film is dreadful.
I am
throughout.
Have you know that I'm twice as powerful as I was last time? It's even better to take you down. Shut up! Just fight, you knobheads. But yeah, no, it was. I thought that was fine. I was quite happy with the whole opening to this film, really, other than a few choice lines that made it weird. This is why I wish you'd have called me afterwards, after the film, or at least the day after the film, because I've got a note here that just says Obi-Wan is cocksure. That's it. That's all it says. I don't know what it's referring to. It must have been a line that rubbed me up the wrong way. It just says Obi-Wan is cocksure. Okay.
It wasn't like when they were crashing the ship or anything like that, was it?
I can't remember. He must have said something that was really arrogant, and it just pissed me off. At this point, I think we have to just assume that everyone can just breathe in space. That's never addressed, you told me, right?
What do you mean?
They're on a ship that splits in half, James, and they're flying the other half.
Have force fields and stuff, don't they?
Do you know what a force field is?
Do you know what a force field is in science fiction?
No, I don't. I'm assuming a force field was just to keep things out, like enemy spacecraft or whatever. Not to keep oxygen in. It's not like an atmosphere, is it?
No, they don't. They have shields which can force shields that go across doors and stuff that.
And they managed to switch it on quick enough,
because it'd be emergencies, wasn't it? In case the ship gets if there's a hull breach or something like that, you've got to seal it quickly.
You're really strange because you really pick up Star Wars on weird, not weird stuff, but you really nail down into Star Wars and pick holes in things, right? Which is natural, and we all do it, right? But when it comes to that sort of stuff, you make up you just go, oh, they got a force field that does it. It switches on.
But that stuff doesn't matter, does it? At all. That's not anything to do with the plot or anything like that.
No one cares really. But it is just it is at the point now where you're just going, that's not an issue in Star Wars throughout the whole thing. No one's fallen out into space and not been able to breathe, have they? It's never happened.
Well, okay, yeah.
Looking forward to future episodes of Star Wars. It's a little frustrating as everything looks so good, and the action is great, but the way everyone talks to each other is really distracting.
I know. Have you got notes on the first bit with Queen Amidala in it with Padme?
Oh yes, I think I have.
That is incredible. That was the bit. Yeah.
Yes, I have, right. And Obi-Wan isn't helping with all these quips. Another happy ending. There's a bit in it where he goes, I think I missed that. Yeah, Obi-Wan, this was an earlier one. Obi-Wan in the lift, Anakin jumps up, always on the move. I just put, what?
I know, he's become Roger Moore. In the beginning of the film.
Absolutely, 110%.
It's just constant shit one-liners.
It really is.
And they're dreadful as well, every single one.
Another happy landing. That's what he says, not happy ending. Another happy landing. Oh, brilliant. Well done. Nice one. Anakin finally starting to appreciate Obi-Wan. He definitely got his leg over, and that was just before she announced she's pregnant. And I just put, yep, he did. Anakin, mate, that's not how you react to your wife telling you she's pregnant. No one believes it's the happiest day of your life. Yeah. She was like, "Oh, I'm pregnant. Ah, it's great." Yeah. And she was like, "You all right with that?" "Yeah, it's the happiest day of my life." And she was like, "Oh yeah," gave him a cuddle. I was like, look him in the eyes. I mean, there is no way he's happy about this situation, is he? To be fair.
In fact, actually, that was probably the best acting that he did for the entire
yeah, it's true. It's the most true to life he's ever been. Jedis can see into the future now. Great. Why does Lucas keep giving Jedis these needless powers?
No, because Luke does the same thing in Empire Strikes Back.
What do you mean?
He also has dreams like that. Don't you remember?
No, go on.
Okay, so in Empire Strikes Back, when Luke is training with Yoda on Dagobah, he also has visions of what could be, like in the future, where he sees like Han and Leia being tortured in Cloud City. That's why he goes off to try and save them.
Oh, I don't really remember that bit. I remember the bit where he chops the head off and he sees that vision, but that didn't really feel like the same thing. I know,
but this is like he has these like dreams that it's the same thing. It's the same concept.
I see, because like there was that whole thing with Anakin in the last film where he had that dream about his mum being tortured. But I assumed that wasn't in the future. That was him just sensing it happening at the time using the Force.
That's not clear, actually. I mean,
no, but I think it's safe to say that is a good assumption, because he turns up and she's been tortured, and
but the visions of the future, that totally fits, because Luke even talked with Yoda about that. Like he just said, like what you've seen, and then Yoda's like, "Oh," he said, "Is it going to happen?" And he's like, "It's a possible future. It's something that could happen, or maybe it won't." It's
okay. Well, I stand corrected then. And then there's all that stuff about the Prophet and them knowing that there's one that can take down the Emperor and stuff. Okay, I was wrong there. I was wrong to bring that up. Oh my God, why has Anakin told her about his death dream? Bit weird, wasn't it? Oh, I had a dream about you last night. I've had dreams that I would never tell Joe. You know what I mean? And there's like, I can't imagine waking up in the morning. Joe, did you know you're pregnant and that? Yeah. I dreamt that you died when giving birth. Do you know that? That's weird, isn't it?
But also, you're missing out also here some of the incredible dialogue that there is when they first meet.
Go on.
Not when they first, when you first see them together, and you've got him looking at her in the creepy way again, doing his like creepy look, and then saying to her, "You're so beautiful," and then her replying with, "Only because I'm so in love." But then, the way she says it with like zero conviction,
and then she says something like, "Well, love has made you blind," and it was like, "What? what does that mean?"
But also, when they have that whole thing about the pregnancy, and like she's like hugging him and stuff, and then she says to him like, "Hold me like you did on the lake on Naboo so long ago when there was nothing but our love." But then once again, no conviction in the way she says it at all, and it just sounds appalling.
And was that? I think that was later in the film, right?
No, that was definitely after the pregnancy reveal, I think.
Because no, it's definitely later in the film, because I got a note on it that says, "Did Amidala just say that there were no politics when they were hugging by the lake? Did she not watch episode 2?
Yeah, no, she was like, so crazy as well, yeah.
She was like, "Oh, you were hugging me by the lake, where there was no trouble, there was no politics." I thought, I watched that film.
Hiding. Yeah, we were in hiding because people were trying to assassinate me.
Yeah. Sorry, Amidala, when we were doing that. That seems political to me. Nope. No politics back then, baby.
Yeah, they certainly didn't discuss fascism or how dictatorship was fine.
No, they didn't. They didn't, did they? Maybe she was so shocked by him just like revealing himself as a fucking Hitler youth.
Blocked it out.
That she just blocked it out.
And there's so much stuff like that in this film, though. Like where that comes up again, and she's like, "I can't believe this," and it's like, "Are you an idiot?" It's like, don't you remember?
Yeah, I've got notes on some of that stuff. Right, okay. This psychologist session with Yoda, I wonder how it ends. Mainly because at the end of that scene, it's just like he makes his point and it screen wipes to the next scene, right? Mm-hmm. But I do kind of wonder, like, I know this is... imagine if Yoda was real, right? No, it was like one of those stupid comments to make, but I do kind of wonder, like, how do they end those sessions? Like, do you reckon he goes, like, Yoda, like, looks up his watch, he goes, okay, your time's up, Anakin. I'll see you next week, same time. Or does Anakin go, I'll see you later, Yoda, you up to anything tonight? No, just sort of sitting around in my office. Really? Do you want to go for a drink? Nah, I'm alright, cheers, mate. I don't particularly like you, Anakin. I don't know if I've made that clear in the constant comments.
This is just a business arrangement. You know, we're not friends.
I'm busy. This bit of the film is weird. It's just some scenes cut together of Anakin walking around talking to people. It reminded me of like a point-and-click adventure. It was just, okay, now I need to go and speak to that person, then that person, then that person. Or Mass Effect. You know Mass Effect?
Well, yeah, it's him going around being like, I need to establish my relationship with all of these people.
Yeah, totally.
For stuff that's going to happen later.
Yeah, yeah. It was like Mass Effect. Just before you go out on a mission, you're like, well, I'm back here. I'll go and talk to each of the characters just to move the story along with each of those, and then I'll go back. But it was like quickly cut together of him.
This
just
dude might
about.
have a side quest for me. You know, just have a chat with him.
The plot in this is way better than it was in episode 1 and 2. Anakin asked to spy on Palp. I like this. And I just liked it, you know, when they turned around to him and said, and I was like, oh, an actual bit of plot that I'm kind of like, oh, is he going to do it or isn't he? And okay, it's spoiled because I kind of know what goes down, but it was still, you know, it was like, right, okay, it feels like things are coming together a bit for the first time in these 3 films.
Yeah,
you know,
because they're trying to set up this idea that there is going to be like a, you know, he's going to have to make a decision at some point.
There's
going to be a dilemma.
Yeah, it was the first time there was a clear split there, wasn't it? You know, you're joining the good side or the dark side, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, fucking hell, I forgot that there could be plot in films. Okay. Theatre of Bubbles was weird, wasn't it?
What was that?
That was when Palp was sitting watching some show and it was just some big bubbles. They could have done anything there. Those massive bubble things. You must know. Anakin goes and sits in like a theatre-style box.
Yeah, but that's where they had the whole conversation about like life and death, isn't it?
Right, that's fine. But before we get to that, I'm talking about what was going on stage that people were applauding.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention to that.
How can you not pay attention to it, James? It's like front and centre of that whole scene. They're sitting basically, well, let me try and describe it then. They're sitting in these like box seats, and in front of them is a huge black bubble with lots of other bubbles around it, and they move a bit, and people just start cheering like they're watching a juggler or something. It's just, and I was kind of like, you could have had anything that they're going to watch, anything, and you chose big black bubbles. Like, what is that? But okay, James, you should have seen it. You should have paid attention. That I don't think you watched it.
I did. Just that bit. Well, a couple of bits were really boring. But yeah, go on.
Okay, called it. Palp is talking about the dark side being able to save with the Force, save lives with the Force. Amidala gonna die. George is going down the temptation route. So we spoke about it last week. He had 2 ways of dealing with him turning to the dark side. Either the temptation of having the powers of the dark side to save Amidala, or the Jedi's fucking up and him wanting revenge.
Yeah.
Which is way more interesting than...
That would have been a lot more interesting, than what they did go with. Because,
Yeah.
But that whole speech, though, I thought was brilliant, though.
Really?
Like, from Palpatine. Yeah, his whole thing, like explaining the story of basically what we believe to be his master, you know, the person that he's learned from.
This is right, okay, because he comes up later. I'll address it now. So his master. No, I'm trying to remember how there was a character. He talks about a Jedi that was more powerful than any other Jedi he'd met. Was it his master?
Yeah. Well, it's the guy that becomes Darth Plagueis.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we're to assume that he's dead? We've not met him, have we?
Yeah, the assumption is that he's dead and that actually Palpatine killed him. And
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Now, so I thought, this is jumping ahead, but I thought I tell you what, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to it. Let me get to that point of the story, and then I can, and then we can explore that. So yeah, what else about that? Did you just thought what?
I just thought it was well delivered. I enjoyed listening to it. I thought it was, I thought he delivered it well, that section. Compared with the rest of the film, I think that was the best bit of him acting, to be honest. I thought
probably,
that was
you're probably right there. That scene was probably his highlight of the whole film, because
he was
just bizarrely distracting throughout the whole film for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now, go on.
I mean, part of that is it really does feel that it's like, that direction of just be evil, and so he just went too far. Like a lot of the time.
He was pantomime, wasn't he? He was pantomime at places. I mean, there was some stuff later that, I mean, he completely wrecks an entire scene later, which is probably the most important scene in the whole of the 6 films, and he completely destroys it with his acting. But we'll wait for that. Wookiee battle. Why are the Wookiees doing a Tarzan cry? Yeah, that was in Return of the Jedi as well. That happened. Really? When? Yeah. There's a bit where Chewbacca is attacking an AT-ST, and he swings in and does the cry as well. Totally
he does
missed
the same
that.
cry. Yeah.
Why would he choose the Tarzan cry?
I think just as like a homage, isn't it, to Tarzan?
Yeah, but why? Obviously, but why would you do that? You've built this whole world and stuff. I hate it when he does that. I hate when he tries to link it back to existing stuff that we know. I know, because it does take you out of it a bit. Well, it's just like, what's the fucking point? Just give him a different sound. No one is sitting there watching that going, "Oh, it's Tarzan. Brilliant! He's doing the Tarzan thing. What a great!" It's not a gag. It's not. I don't know why George Lucas keeps doing that. Obi-Wan and Anakin still don't feel like friends, do they? They talk to each other like shit, and there's that one scene where they try and make up. That's about as far as their friendship have gone. Do you know what's a shame about this, right? Is, I said this film was going to be like 3.5 hours. Yeah. Apparently, the first part of the film when they're rescuing the Palpatine on the ship. Yeah. All of that was supposed to be. It was going to be about an hour, actually. All of that. Oh wow. And the whole point was to flesh their relationship out further. To sort of give them more time to be together, to build this sort of the idea that they are actually really close friends. Because that is also one of the things that I feel that the prequels fail to do. They absolutely do. There's no connection between those. Yeah, they don't feel like friends at all. I mean, if you think about the original trilogy, by the end of it, you do feel like Han and Luke and Leia and all that, they are they're God, buddies, that kind of thing, and they got a close bond. A family bond in some regard. Almost certainly, yeah. But in this case, it doesn't feel like that at all. It doesn't. It never feels like because I mean, if you watch episode 4, again, I mean, I watched it again the other day actually. I watched it with Rachel. She's never seen it, and there's that bit where Obi-Wan Kenobi just says he was a good friend and all that, and he says it with such conviction, and then I just keep thinking back now to Hayden Christensen and just thinking, no, you won't. It doesn't feel like that at all. Yeah, you fucking hated each other at the whole thing. Yeah. I like the fact it was mostly because Obi-Wan was holding him back, through most of the time. Yeah, exactly. I like the fact that they had that all planned for the opening hour or so of this film, and instead they just cut it. They said, right, cut it down. Okay, we'll cut it down. Should we have this moment where they bond over this? No. What about this moment where this one saves this one, and they realise that their friendship is more than just friendship, and they're actually looking out for each other? No. Get rid of that. Well, all that leaves left is Obi-Wan just saying his little quips about always on the move. Yeah, keep that in. Keep that in. Yeah, keep that bit in. Why? Because that is comedy. That's why. Because it's poetry. It rhymes. It rhymes, yeah. Right, okay. Where are we? Wow. Wait. Dooku trained a robot. I mean, I don't care that it's stupid, but it's pretty fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. How did you train it to fight with 4 arms? Well, he trained it in the Jedi arts, is what he says. How to fight with a lightsaber, but then it's a robot. Well, it's not really a robot. No, sorry, James. Sorry, James. If he had 1 lightsaber, or maybe even 2, I could understand it. But how has he taught him the Jedi way of fighting with 4 lightsabers, James? I don't know. Good point, isn't it?
It is a good point. Yeah.
I've mugged George right off there.
Yeah.
He's sitting there. George, I know you're listening to this, mate, and I know you're going, fuck, he's got me. He's got me.
But
I haven't got.
Saying that, he also did a rubbish job because Obi-Wan Kenobi cut 3 of them off pretty quickly.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Pretty easily done.
But that did look good though. You know,
loved
like
it.
when he's charging at him and he's got those lightsabers rotating and everything.
Did people hate that character?
Not particularly, because he gets more fleshed out in like the Clone Wars and in other series. He's not.
Well, I think for me, I really liked it because, but like I was worried that people would hate him because he is like a Saturday morning children's cartoon villain, isn't he?
Yeah.
And
because obviously evil.
But I really loved it. I just thought it was hammy enough to be a little bit stupid, but not ridiculous. Like I wish Empire Strikes Back gets that balance really well, doesn't it? Where like the enemies and stuff are not like the main, not Darth Vader and the Emperor and stuff like that, but the enemies and the other bad guys around those films they're cartoon characters, aren't they? And they're just a bit wacky and a bit stupid or whatever, and a bit silly. And they always manage to get that balance right. And I feel that this character hit that balance. You know, he's a bit weird. You know, he opens him up and he's got human organs in and stuff. Which gets me to my point. I don't know who that person used to be, but if I was writing it, he would have been that Jedi that Palpatine was talking about at the theatre.
He was not, no.
That's a shame. That's what I thought it was gonna we were gonna find out that's who it was. Yeah.
So you thought it would probably? I mean, it would have been quite cool if he had been like a. See, I don't know his backstory, actually. I don't know the full backstory.
Maybe he was a Jedi. Why were you so confident?
He's formerly... Well, he's definitely not that, because I'm absolutely certain he's not that.
Okay, fine.
But he's definitely, like, formerly alive and then sort of has become, you know, like, part machine or whatever.
You would protect the organs a bit better, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah. Although
there's a reason dangling for that. Around in the middle.
The thing with the heart thing, though, there is a reason for that, because apparently... He had a battle with Mace Windu earlier, who damaged that part of his body. It's Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Sorry, now I've literally referred to him as Samuel L. Jackson throughout the whole 3 films. I didn't know his name. Right, okay, okay. So the main robot has human bits. Then I'm assuming he's that Jedi Palp was talking about, the uber powerful one. I know.
No.
Palp trying to defend learning the dark side is funny. Yeah, because they confront him, doesn't he? They confront him about learning the dark side, and he's trying to defend it. And I've put, like, he's just been caught looking up his wife's mates on Facebook. Well, actually, I was just a bit curious, and I just had looked for a little bit, but
it's actually just for research. You know,
yeah. You've been caught out, Palp.
Yeah.
You've been searching You've been looking on the dark side. I just had a little look at it. They were bloody powerful. There's powers that you could do on that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not into that. Just research.
It reminded me of when Obi-Wan was caught lying about. I wasn't lying to you from a certain point of view. Goodbye, Luke. Right. Okay. And there's another quip from Obi-Wan. Again, I don't remember it because I watched this film last week.
But hang on, also that, because it's Anakin that he's talking to at this point, and then Anakin even like ignites his lightsaber, doesn't he? At this point, like when he's talking to Palpatine, who reveals that he's been researching the dark side.
Yep.
And you're just thinking that should have been a much bigger red flag, you know, than it was. Like, why didn't he arrest him immediately? You know, that was very odd.
We went back and grassed him up. I didn't think he was going to do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's still like it's obvious that he's like the Sith Lord or whatever. He's clearly the main bad guy. Why are you just letting him go? It was very odd. That was.
He was just up for grassing him, wasn't he? And remember, he isn't actually a master or anything yet, is he? So,
no, that's true. Yeah, I was a bit upset about that.
But he was a little bit upset about not being made a master, wasn't he? It's like when you make someone a team leader in your office, and then they try and get into the manager's meeting, and you're like, nah, no, you're not. What do you mean? No, you're not. You're a team leader. You're not a manager. So can you?
I mean, it's essentially meaningless. It's just
assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
Gotta say, the acting in this is way better than it was in the first 2 episodes. It's not a high bar to hit, but I think they hit it.
Apart from Natalie Portman, throughout the entire film,
I would agree.
She's the worst thing in the entire film.
Anakin crying at the window was weird, though.
Yep.
What was... Right, okay, we'll come back to that. Damn, the 2 Jedis were taken down way too easily by Palp.
Yeah, I've got that down as one of my notes, because I've got like Mace versus Palpatine. The other Jedi are totally useless.
Yeah, I know.
They just
they don't even move. One of them just goes, just stick it in my stomach.
Yeah.
She just drops to the floor. Like it was... I mean, you're Jedi Masters for fun. There's 3 of you. There was 4 of them, I think, including...
there was 3 of them, that went in there. And but yeah, they did nothing. They just stood there and let themselves get sliced up.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
Oh my, this is utterly bizarre. Don't kill me. And there's that bit where he goes, no.
Yeah. He goes, no.
Yeah, that's it. He goes, no, don't kill me. And then I put the fuck Anakin. That was when he killed Samuel L. Jackson. I guess because I put that because there didn't really seem like any reason why he would kill one over the other at that point.
See, this is the thing, because I've got written down here, even at the point where Mace dies, Anakin didn't have to join the dark side. And it's like the big problem, I felt with this, is that the relationship between him and Palpatine, I still don't feel is very believable at this point at all.
I was going to write the same thing, and they didn't nail this point well enough, I think, in this film. But that can be argued away with, hold on, he's seen visions of his wife dying. He's also been told by Palp by this point that if he joins the dark side, he can save his wife.
Yeah, but he also knows that the dark side is bad, and it could be a lie.
I don't think he does, James, because there's a line later that makes 0 sense.
But that's the thing. This is what I mean about he's so credulous throughout the entire film. Like, he seems to just believe everything that everybody tells him. And this is on both sides, that he just believes everything.
He's the Matt Murray of Star Wars.
What's really weird about it is the way that people keep on saying, you're very wise. It's like, no, he's the most gullible person in the whole thing.
Right, okay. I put, right, so this sums up this scene, because we need to talk about this scene a bit.
Mm-hmm.
This whole scene was shit. The acting took a nosedive. Anakin killed Samuel. I mean, I know why he did it, but still, Palp's face changed. Darth Vader named too. Big scene, but didn't work. It didn't work, did it? Because it was...
I felt that it felt too quick, all of that. Like, I really felt that his, sort of turn to becoming his disciple was, it didn't feel, earned at all, I didn't think.
No, it was just there was a few throwaway lines at the start of the film where it was like, oh, you're getting a bit close to him, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But I think forget that, right? Okay, look, time constraints aren't that much of a problem with me. If you're able to make that scene A, believable, and B, important, and I felt it was just a bit of a mess. Like the acting, the whole no was so distracting, and when his face was changing just like that, that was like what.
I mean, that looked rubbish as well.
It did look rubbish. It's. I don't mind if they've got to hit these plot points and they've got to do it quick, as long as they do it in a good way. And
well, do you know what it lacked, which is what it really needed, was, like you said, it needed a bit more subtlety for all of this, and it could have worked, actually, that whole scene, if the Emperor hadn't played it as completely evil. Do you know what I mean? If it had been sort of in the beginning he does the whole I'm defenseless and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If he'd have run with that for a bit longer and made it seem like Mace was being very unreasonable about the whole thing, it could have worked. But the fact that he seems so evil.
Yeah, the idea is that you're supposed to be grooming Anakin, and it didn't feel like that at all. There was no heavy persuasion. There was no reasonable, logical argument or flat out lies to convince him. It was
just all he's evil, and it's just it didn't work. So I really. Something that works at all.
No, and that really disappointed me actually, because it was such an important scene that they completely failed to nail. I mean, as I said, it felt like they were on a prescriptive roller coaster. You know what I mean? Rather than thinking, shit, what's Anakin going to do? What's the reaction to this? How's he going to react to killing Samuel Jackson? Like, how is he going to react to the fact that clearly Palpatine was lying about him being in trouble? You know, that was all bullshit, and he just knew that instantly he could just zap him at any time. He was just pretending. Like, how is he? How are the emotional? Like, what's he thinking during this? It didn't feel like that at all. It felt like like one of those roller coasters where you go and those models move, and it's like, well, that was always going to be what happens. There was no intrigue there at all. It was just, fuck it, this is what happens. There you go, done.
And you're right, because it is the pivotal scene for probably the entire 6 films. Of this is how he falls to the dark side. Yeah. But completely not satisfying.
Completely not satisfying. No. Did Palp's face change because he was using too much of the Force, or has it always been that way? Right. Yeah, that's a question for you.
I think it changed because it got damaged, I think, by the Force lightning, because it was being reflected back on him, wasn't it?
So he was using too much of... I see. Yeah. Okay, I just wondered if he was like a shape-shifting dude again. Like
No. Just,
had to be
also,
asked
it makes him look more evil, so, that's the other reason for it.
Obi-Wan rocking around on that lizard is well funny.
Yeah, the CGI there was dreadful.
It was dreadful, but I kind of felt that was intentionally supposed to be funny. Not how bad it looked, but the fact that it was just Obi-Wan just rocking around. Like, he could have walked in some of those scenes, but instead they had him on this lizard, and he was just like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" It was just like, I think that was intentionally funny.
I don't think it was.
I think it was, James. I do. There's a bit where they're walking along and he just trots up beside him on this big thing, and it's like going mental, and he's just like riding it. It's just so fun. I thought it was really good.
See, I would say that it can't have been funny because you can't have a tonal shift like that in a film. But this is a George Lucas film.
Did you see episode 1? Yeah,
exactly.
The scenes where Jedis die is pretty well done, though. I thought that was pretty good. When they were all being betrayed, and yes, you'll probably argue that it was too quick and it was rushed, but I like the fact that it was bam, these people getting betrayed, bam, these people getting betrayed. It was
that was the thing, like, because Order 66, I think, is a genius idea. It's a really good idea to, like, the fact that these, they've all been programmed to do this, from birth, and it's all just waiting for this command, and then it's all going to happen. The only thing that I think, as you just said, maybe ruined it a bit, is that it was very quick and it made the Jedi look rubbish. Like,
it made them look rubbish, but then I kind of felt like there was part of me thinking they're not fighting back, but I think that can be explained that the fact that this was going to happen was so far removed from their mind. I mean, vast majority of them, they're rocking up with these soldiers, and then all of a sudden they just point a gun and shoot at them. And I like the fact... I didn't like... It was better to be just like shortcuts like this, because a lot of the Jedis we didn't really know about if we're just going by the films, but it was still shocking the way that it was like, fuck, that one's dead now, that one's dead now, that one's dead, fuck, like this is proper. But
you see, wouldn't it have been better if they'd have spent some more time with these films developing some of these characters?
Not really. I don't think it's needed.
So? No. Because then you would have been more of a feeling, the fact that they've all been killed.
I had quite a big reaction to it, so I can't... I mean, you could say that about most things in these films. Would it be better if Jabba was explored more in the first 3 films, and making that whole torture scene and his ultimate death more important? Yeah, I guess it would, but... I have no complaints. Like, I've dissed this film a lot so far, and the previous 2 films, but I'm not going to look for something to moan about where I had no problem with it, if you know what I mean. Is that supposed to be the Chewbacca helping Yoda?
Yeah, I've got a note on that.
If so, why didn't that come up in episodes 4 to 6?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. It is supposed to be Chewbacca, and there was no need for that at all.
Yeah, I've got this later. I've got this in there later when it's revealed that it is Chewbacca, because Yoda calls him Chewbacca.
Yeah,
the most pointless connection to the first 3 films in the whole series. Ridiculous. Let's just have Chewbacca in it. Why? Just stick him in it. Like, zero sense.
Han Solo was going to be in this as well, as like a 10-year-old or something.
I was thinking if they put Han Solo in this, I'd be fucking furious because
See, and what sucks about all that, and I mean, a lot of TV series do this kind of thing because they think, I think people think it's like, it's good for the audience to see somebody they know, that kind of thing. But I don't think
is someone going, look, it's the thing you like? It's in him as well.
But the thing is it also makes the universe feel a lot smaller.
It does.
Totally. It's just, I mean, they've done this with Star Trek recently, where it's like everybody knows each other, and it's just like, it's rubbish. It's terrible.
Absolutely. I thought the fact that he was standing there looking exactly like he did in the other films as well, with that belt, the same belt on and that, I was just like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? There's a whole planet of Wookiees and we're seeing this one here. Like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that little cameo. Right, okay, this is a big talking point for me.
Mm-hmm.
That kid actor is the worst in all the films. You know that kid where he goes, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? Like, I've seen better acting in the Christmas play, like my son's Christmas play. And wait a fucking minute, is Anakin just straight up murdering those kids?
He is, yes.
We'll get back to it. We'll get to it. This is obviously all I saw was him turn on his lightsaber in front of about 20 children, and then it cuts away, right?
Yeah.
They were training to be Jedis, right? Which makes sense, but fucking hell. Right, okay, I'll go back to that. Oh god, it is Chewie. Why? How? We've kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Anakin is straight up murdering everyone now. He did kill those kids.
He definitely killed those kids, yeah.
I was absolutely... I was shocked at that. And part of me thought, George Lucas has no option of saying, it's a kid's film. Like, anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah.
He can't do that anymore.
He didn't, because this one had a higher certificate anyway.
Did it really? Is this a 15?
No, it had a 12, I think, when it came out.
Most of them are 12s. I'm pretty sure episode 1...
No, they're not. I mean, what's it called? Episode 1 was definitely PG.
Right, okay. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Like, that's really fucked up.
But also, you see, this is another thing, though, where I felt this film should have been longer or split into two pieces or something, or this should have started in episode 2 rather than episode 3. It still feels like it's really messed up, but it all happens too quickly, all of that does. Like, this descent into just being completely evil and just, like, killing everybody.
I guess. I wasn't really disappointed with that. Really, honestly, I thought the turning point was done poorly, and I think that was the big fuck up. The fact that this is going really quickly didn't bother me at all, because it was kind of like, okay, we know he's evil now. Let's go and see him do evil shit. I don't really care.
But the whole point is that the reason he's going with Palpatine is because he thinks it's going to save his wife's life. That's the whole thing. How do you make the leap from that to murdering
all the Jedis? Yeah, I know, totally. Yeah, and I get that. I think I cover that again later. But the murdering the kids thing was just kind of like, wow, what a fucking like.
Yeah, well, there's no. That's the point of no return.
That's
anyway.
What a 180. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane. And not only that, like, do you know what I think might have happened? I think they put those Jedis being trained, those child Jedis being trained in episode 2, right? And then when he was writing episode 3, he thought, now Anakin helps kill all the Jedis. And then someone said, yeah, but do you remember you put a load of kid Jedis in? Oh, shit, yeah, he's going to have to murder him now, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, fuck, what are we going to do? I guess he's got to do it. Otherwise, people are going to go, those kids training to be Jedis,
they're all going to be threats.
Fuck.
Logically, he's just got to do it.
All right, well, let's get Anakin Skywalker to murder some 5-year-olds then.
Yeah.
You sure, George? Yeah. We've got to make everything logical. Right, but you want Chewie in this as well. Yeah, put Chewie in as well.
He's got to go. He's got to be in there.
He's got to be in there.
The kids love him. He's got to be in there.
Yeah, but the kids are dead, George. You killed the kids, George. Wait. Where people now say George Lucas killed my childhood, my response will always be now, why were you a Jedi? Like that is wait, when did the war end? They're talking about the war ending. Feels like I missed something. When the Republic turned on the Jedis, did they all just officially say, okay, it's the end of the war now?
Yeah, well, it's that, and then it's the war's kind of over by this point because the Separatists have been kind of defeated. I mean, that's because then he dispatches Anakin, doesn't he, to go and finish off the leadership.
There felt like there should have been a scene with at least a commander saying, "The war's over, sir. It's over. They've won," or something like that. Instead, it was just like everyone's just going, "Okay, so the war's over now." Was it? Is it? Oh right, okay, the war's over. Fine. I think I could see why people suggest watching these films in episode order. I mean, the story runs quite well together. It must be a bit of a shock if you do that, though. I mean, the change in tone between the two trilogies is mental.
Yeah.
Like, it is, when you look at it as 6 films, you don't know whether you're walking into a slapstick comedy or a film where someone's going around killing 5-year-olds or you know, the wacky adventures of Han Solo and Luke. You know, they're quite weird. Like, if someone was to sum them up, like, say, can you sum up what sort of film Star Wars films are? Not really. I mean, the consistency is that they're in space, and I mean, some of them are like a romp with characters going around space and doing stuff. Others are like, there's a romantic film that's weird, and there's a film where a character like just keeps getting hit over the head and falls over and says poo a lot. Like,
but can't you say it's like a soap opera though, isn't it? That's the whole thing.
Not really. A soap opera doesn't have comedy, like flat out.
Yeah, of course
comedy
it does.
In it. No, it doesn't.
They always do. Come on,
they have funny moments, but they don't have someone going, "Whoa, I'm falling over now."
Okay, yeah, I know, but that's because that's just George Lucas being rubbish, like doing comedy. But it's more like a soap opera, I think. Okay,
Anakin crying now. Like again, like they just sling those scenes in, don't they? Okay, now we have Anakin crying. Why? Because he just killed some kids. How about we don't get him killing kids? The fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan would be so much better if we didn't know that they both survive. Same with Yoda and Palp. Still, the fights are cool, just lacking a bit of tension.
But there's also so this is the fight on Mustafar, right? On the volcano planet, yeah.
The volcano planet was. I put this. The bit in the lava is a little bit elaborate. Like it's just a bit stupid, isn't it?
But you see, there's also other bits here that are crazy. Like, because obviously, Padme turns up first, on the planet with Obi-Wan. I think we're supposed to believe that he's hidden himself on the ship, so that he can find it where he is, right?
Yeah.
But then also, there's still more terrible lines between him and Anakin. Between Padme and Anakin.
Well, I've got here, from my point of view, the Jedis are evil. Yeah. Says the child killer. Is what I've written down.
But you've got that, and I've written here, why is Padme even slightly surprised that Anakin has joined the dark side? The signs were all there. It's like, it's been obvious, like, since, would you say since, like, episode 1 even? Like, it's been, like, how evil he is.
He's a psychopath. I mean, if he'd have turned around and said, I've killed your mum, Padme, why? It's just what I do, innit? Oh, I love you, Anakin.
It's because of Obi-Wan who's holding me back. But then also you've got, Obi-Wan Kenobi says to him, "You're a good person, don't do this." And it's like, by this point, all evidence is to the contrary.
Yeah. He cries out for a dictatorship and he murders children. You're a good person.
Well, yeah, because this is the other thing. She says, "I don't believe what I'm hearing." And then I said, in episode 2, Anakin has suggested this very system and expressed admiration for fascism.
Well, I've also got this. Amidala asks Obi-Wan, is Anakin all right? That's after she comes round after being choked by him. I said, who discovered he's a child killer before he choked her? Like, why is she waking up and saying, is he all right? Well, why do you care? I mean, he's clearly a terrible person.
Yeah, well, because she also says to him, Obi-Wan was right, you've changed. And it's like, he hasn't. He hasn't at all. Like, there's been no change at all. He's been an arsehole for, like, the whole thing.
Killed a bunch of kids and you choked me and... you've changed.
It's all those sand people that he killed in episode 2. It's just
the sand people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, that at least was a little bit justified.
Well, I don't know. Did you see his mother's death scene? I mean, it wasn't really, was it?
Yeah, she probably was. If anything died that day, it was the art of acting.
Yeah.
The fight between Anakin, right, okay, I've done that. From my point of view, the Jedis are evil, says a child killer. Wait, what? Anakin's legs get lobbed off. Didn't expect that.
But you're also missing one of the most famous lines from this film.
Oh, go on.
Which is the one that people often cite as being particularly example of like bad writing, etc.
Go on.
There's that bit where Obi-Wan Kenobi jumps onto the side and onto that like little hill.
Yeah.
And then he just says to him, "It's over. I have the high ground." And it's like, what do you mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like that doesn't mean it's over, but I get what you're saying. He's like, I've got a clear advantage over you now. I've won.
Yeah.
It's like checkmate. So it didn't really bother me, that line. Like I didn't look at
that often gets cited as being
really
odd. Yeah, as being an odd line. Yeah,
it just felt like he was saying he might as well have said checkmate. Like he's on a high position. You haven't got a chance of taking me down now, and he was right. But there was part of me thinking, hold on, Obi-Wan, you never know, mate. You can't. You know what I mean? You can't celebrate 1-0 up with 5 minutes to go, man. You know what I mean? It's not over yet. Here we go. I've put so when he cuts his legs off, I thought that was quite shocking.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't expect it, did you?
That whole scene where he's like falling into the lava slowly, that is still horrible. Like,
it's brilliant.
I watched that. It's well, that's what I mean. Like that's one of the most impactful scenes in the film, I think. Because
in fact, actually, I think from this point on, I thought the rest of the film was excellent. I think there's still some questions during this bit, but I genuinely believe the rest of it is excellent. There's
2 bits of it after that I'm not a fan of, but yeah.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'm not actually. What's that? So let's just polish the film off and then we can go over these bits because I think there's still a lot to talk about. Okay, so how the fuck did he survive then? Well, obviously we know. Now, Obi-Wan, is Anakin all right? Asks Amidala, who discovers the child killer. Right, we've covered that. Don't go too near that lava with that robe palp. Because it just walks over that big robe like dragging along. Like it's a bit hot around there, mate. What they say, don't go near a bonfire in a shell suit or something. The Darth Mask bit was cool with that just like lowering down. I thought that was fucking excellent. Amidala's final words, right? This was a problem. Amidala's final words are really hard to hear. Did you hear them in the cinema? Because fuck me, I rewound it 5 times, then had to do it again and put subtitles on just to hear what she said.
No, I don't remember.
Maybe it's just the mix that I was listening to, but you could barely hear him. And what she actually says is, "There's good in him." And then I put a note afterwards that said, "And her, Amidala." You know what I mean? Jesus.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean, and her?
Well, and Leia. There's good in her.
She's talking about Anakin, not Luke.
What?
She's definitely talking about Anakin. She's not talking about the kids.
No, she's not.
Of course she is. She still wants to believe that he's still all right, even though he never has been.
The baby gets handed to Obi-Wan.
There's no way. She is talking about Anakin.
At him, at Obi-Wan, and the baby, and goes, "There's good in him."
Why would you say that about a baby?
Because she's saying, look, obviously, that's the dad. He's an evil bastard. There's good in this one. Look, concentrate on this one.
No way. She's definitely talking about Anakin because she still wants to believe he can be saved.
What makes you think that?
Because of the way she's been talking throughout the entire film.
Yeah, okay. But why would she say that why would they make that whole elaborate thing about Luke being... She just named him. She went, Luke. And then he told him, there's good in him.
But why would you say that? Like, about a child?
Because she's saying, look, this is not going to be his father's son. This is a good one. Look over it. Okay, my reasoning is just as valid as yours.
Yeah, it's just as valid, but it's wrong. Like,
well, based on what?
It's just because the whole film has been about Anakin Skywalker. That's the whole thing. It's been about him. And it's been about his relationship with her, supposedly.
I tell you what, I didn't think that at all when I watched it. I don't think that at all. She's talking about the baby. There's good in him.
Because also, I mean, she dies of a broken heart, essentially, which is, I mean, it's the most unbelievable death in the whole thing. Because,
is that what they said? They didn't say that.
No, they said that she's died, even though there's nothing physically wrong with her. So basically, she's died of a broken heart. That's
right. You are just like making shit up out of your own anger here.
No, of course not. They said that there was no reason why she died. That's what they said. They said that at the time.
So your assumption is she's died of a broken heart.
Well, what else would it be? She's just really sad. That it's just
that she's just given birth to twins, and that is actually.
They said there's nothing physically wrong with her.
I don't know, but James, I watched that, and I looked at it, and she's just named Luke. Obi-Wan's holding him, and he goes, "There's good in him." Do you know what should have happened? Could you imagine if Obi-Wan went? Sorry, what? You talk about Anakin or the baby? and then she just dies. Like that would have been quite good. Right.
Because you see, the reason I say that is because that then goes back to the original trilogy with Luke as well, because Luke said that about Anakin, like about Darth Vader. Like,
don't get me like. I mean, if we go back to the original trilogy, wasn't there a whole conversation with Leia and Luke about Leia's mum?
Yeah.
Who she definitely met, and she was sad, but really.
But one of the main things of this is the whole idea of like Darth Vader's redemption and the fact that there is still good in him. That's why she says that then.
No, I reckon she was talking about Luke. Anyway, what about my point about the fact that Leia was either bullshitting about her mum?
Yeah, that's just that. That's just what can you do about that? I mean, that's a mess, isn't it?
Part of me thinks actually maybe she's talking about her adopted mum that she still believes is a birth mum.
You have to say. Yeah.
I mean, you have got to just... Yeah, but here's the thing. This is what we said a lot in these past few films, right? Mm-hmm. You have to kind of go, well, maybe she's talking about her mum. And, like, just don't have her die after the birth.
Yeah.
Like, don't have her die there and then. Have her die, like, a couple of years later or something.
But again, that's George Lucas wanting to be, like, all sort of, I don't know, dramatic and everything, isn't it? It's got to be like this.
No, he must have... Someone must have pointed that out to him at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And he probably was just like, nah, that's all right.
Can you imagine being like that? Imagine, right, the amount of pressure you must have on you to write these films and put these films together. Like, the amount of pressure you must be feeling of the millions and millions and millions of people that adore what you've done and just go, no, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But there's a massive... Like, that really contradicts what's it. Don't worry. Well, maybe you can explain it away by adding this scene, like her living with her, and then no. Just people won't give a shit. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's like science fiction fans. They're not bothered about stuff like that. It doesn't matter. They won't notice any of like the minutiae of all this.
Right. Okay. There's the mind wipe scene for C-3PO and R2. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, but that was awful.
But also, not R2-D2. They only say we'll wipe C-3PO, but not R2-D2, which makes no sense.
No, he doesn't. Doesn't he go? He goes have their memories wiped. That's the line.
He doesn't. No. You watch it back because I checked this because I was very surprised when I saw this because it makes no sense. They only say the what's called the C-3PO to have his mind done. It doesn't get done to R2-D2. So it makes no sense because that means that throughout the whole original trilogy, he knows everything. And so why has he not communicated any of this information to anybody? It makes no sense.
Back to C-3PO or Luke.
Yeah.
And why has Obi-Wan forgotten?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Okay,
well, yeah.
Who really cares? Like, I mean, it is stupid, but who really cares? I mean, you don't really care, do you?
No, not really.
It's stupid, but you don't really like. Yeah. I'm with you.
Well, the idea that Darth Vader also created C-3PO is a worse idea. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you reckon he signed it? Like, inside one of the panels?
What, you mean like Anakin was here? Or something like that?
Yeah, made by Anakin, lol.
But you see, that's another example, though, of this whole thing of just like making the universe smaller. Like, you don't need to do that. It makes it worse, by doing that sort of stuff.
There's a ton of small scenes here that feel like that they could be given more time watching over the Death Star, and that was sort of just chucked in, wasn't it? It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Luke definitely got the wrong end of the deal, ending up on that sandy shithole.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Which, actually, I just had a thought. because I was kind of thinking, if you're trying to keep him away from Darth Vader,
Yeah,
I
probably
understand
don't dump him
Leia.
down where he grew up.
Yeah,
You know, it's,
but where is he?
What do you mean? Well, he's on.
Well, where
that's
is
what
he?
I said. He's in the same place that Anakin, was lived for like most of his life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what is the major thing about that planet? Full of sand. And we know that Anakin fucking hates sand.
Yeah, he doesn't like sand, does he?
That's why they sent him there, mate. That's why they sent him there.
That makes total sense. He's never going to want to go back there, is he? Because
No.
he hates sand.
Exactly. Darth Sidious turned around and went, Darth Vader, come in. Yes, Master. Yeah, well, we know where Luke is. We found him. Where is he? He's on that planet. What's that planet called? Tatooine. He's on Tatooine. Right? So, Darth, you can go and kill him now. Oh, I'm not gonna. Why not, Darth? It's just... Is it the sand thing, Darth? Is it the sand? It's just so coarse.
It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. Little gag there. Okay. I put, okay, done. That was great. Had some bumps along the way, for sure. But what Star Wars film hasn't? Definitely the best of the three prequels.
Yeah, and with that, I agree with you with that.
I thought
agree.
that whole ending bit, with the quick scenes and the mask being lowered down, and I thought that was really fucking cool, man. Like, when he was getting suited up and that, I thought was really fucking good.
That was good, but I wasn't so keen on the whole no thing.
That was shit. But then it was as if he'd written that line, and did he put that into the episode? Did he put that into episode 3? No, episode
6.
6.
to mirror that.
Around the same time that this film was coming out.
Do you know what? I reckon that's why... That must be it, mustn't it? Because it's like poetry and it rhymes. He must have added that no.
Someone needs to tell George that rhyming, you can't rhyme with rhyme. It doesn't work like that. That's not what a rhyme is. Or can you imagine him sitting actually writing a song? I was going down the shops. I need something to rhyme with shops. It was really nice in the shops. No, that's just the word again, George. That's just the word again. It's not a rhyme.
But yeah, that's definitely why he had that to episode 6. It's got to be. It's because it's got a rhyme. With the
it's got a rhyme. Wonky Donkey reference. I honestly, I really didn't mind this film. There was some bits in it that obviously I thought that that scene where Anakin turns, it was a disaster, an absolute complete fuck up. But other than that, it was relatively enjoyable. I liked the way that it pieced things together. And as I said, that the imagery of those last few scenes was fantastic. That mask being lowered on, the breathing starting, and all of that was just fucking great.
What did you? Okay, can we go back a tiny bit? What did you think of the whole Yoda versus Emperor confrontation stuff? Because
you're gonna have to remind me some of it because this was over a week ago.
Okay, so this is where Yoda goes back with Obi-Wan Kenobi to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant to see what's going on.
Yeah,
and then Yoda goes and faces the Emperor in his room, and he goes in there. He takes out his guards really quickly. And then they have a bit of a fight, and the fight culminates in them in the in the Parliament chucking stuff at each other.
That's right, but the Parliament was empty then, right?
Yeah.
So no one saw it or anything. It was okay. I mean, as I said at the time, I thought the fights were pretty cool, but we knew that both of them were surviving, so something was going to happen where they just got split up. Didn't Yoda just give up?
He did. Well, that's the thing, because when I was watching this, I just, most of those characters, you're just thinking, they've given up quite quickly, actually, with all of this. They've all just, they've just chucked it in and gone, oh, let's all go and hide. This has worked out, let's all go and hide. And it felt a bit, they're giving up too quickly.
I agree. I mean, but then it had to. I mean, what did you want him to kill Yoda? Yeah.
But that's why.
Oh, my God, that would have been brilliant. Could you imagine if Darth Sidious killed Yoda, and then you find out that the Yoda in the first in the episodes 4, 5, and 6 was actually just a liar? It wasn't actually Yoda at all. It's just someone pretending to be him.
But yeah, I don't know.
That'd be good.
It just felt. I know that. I mean, this is why, like, the pacing with all three films was bad in the sense of this could have all started probably in episode 2 instead, and it would have been much better. Like, to have focused more on this.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them from the 3 films, fuck me, then honestly, the whole first episode didn't need to happen at all. No, in my opinion, that could have been a scene at the start because you know Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn. That, you know, a few little moments, a few little scenes with them, and then Qui-Gon Jinn dies. You know, brilliant opening to a film. That's brilliant. And then they could have got by the end of episode 1, they could have got the whole love. We didn't need to see Anakin as a kid. It offered nothing.
Well, yeah, you could have had Anakin as, like, in his late teens. That would have been, like, to have met him like that, already, like, embittered with life and, like, a bit fed up with being on Tatooine or something like that. It would have been much better to have done that, you know, to made out that he came from, like, a difficult background, you know, to begin with, and that was one of the reasons why he was like he was, but he was still strong in the Force. That would have been much more interesting, rather than trying to sort of do it this way.
I would say, right, okay, I would say that the reason why these 3 films didn't work was because there were so many ways of getting to episode 4. You know, when you think about it, there's infinite ways of getting to episode 4, and he just chose a really, really bad way of doing that.
Yeah, he chose and that's why I hated episode 2 or disliked episode 2 so much, is because all of the beats that they needed to be set up for this third film, he messed up.
Yeah, he dropped the ball with a lot of stuff, but I think my argument and what I've learned from watching these films in quick succession without the pressures and expectation is that there is still some really good stuff in these films.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, a lot of the action is still fantastic. You know, Yoda still shines throughout. R2-D2 is still brilliant. And when it finally does get to that place, it's really exciting. Yeah. You know, watching Darth Vader become Darth Vader was more exciting than watching Anakin become Darth Vader. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah,
so once he's made that change, it's all good from there. But to get from Anakin to Darth was shit. You know, so I didn't despise these films. I probably, if I was going to watch one of them again, it would be Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm watching episode 1 again. There's no way I'm watching episode 1 again. It's not happening. I might, if it was on telly, I might watch Attack of the Clones again.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's fine. The third film I'd definitely watch again, but not over the 4, 5, and 6.
No, I mean, as we said, like, the third one is absolutely the best of the 3. But unfortunately, a lot of I think George Lucas had, like, sort of pushed, you know, sort of written himself into a corner in terms of, like, what had to happen in episode 3 because of all the mistakes in episode 2. That's what sets up all the problems with episode 3 as well. And also, I mean, casting decisions is one of the other main issues with all of the trilogy, like this trilogy, really. I mean, this could have been so much better if it wasn't Hayden Christensen. I really believe that. Like, if you'd have had somebody else who could deliver those lines, even though they're bad lines, but somebody could deliver them better. Because if you look at, like, the original trilogy, those actors, they're just better. And they worked with the same kind of script, but they could still make it a bit more believable than he could.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
I agree with you. There was a lot fucked up here. Fucked up. But what can you do? I mean, I wasn't ultimately put off by the films. I didn't really get that angry, which is one of the benefits of watching these films for the first time in quick succession. I think I just, you know, there was a few, I wouldn't even say that I got bored really, which is surprising seeing as some of the, I mean, I got a bit confused during episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely entertaining. Like, if nothing else, they are, like, I'd say, are pretty entertaining throughout, like, all of them.
There's big chunks of episode 2 that was
okay, maybe not episode 2, but
drinking tea.
Yeah.
Maybe I would watch them all again, because I bet they're totally different once you've got them all in context.
Yeah.
I bet you pick up loads from repeat viewing, because that's the other thing as well. You know, people have highlighted to me things that I've missed and I've got stupidly wrong from not really paying attention. But I've watched these films once. You know what I mean? I've got a feeling that I'm going to watch them a fair few times from here.
Yeah, well, that's I mean, I like most of these, especially the original trilogy. I've seen so many times that you do sometimes still notice stuff as well, which is cool. But that's there's a lot there.
Okay.
But the new trilogy I've not watched so much. It's as in like the one we just watched.
I think we've kind of chatted about the trilogy and the film individually as well. So I feel like we've kind of covered that. I mean, if I want to take the 6 films, I should probably do this and list best to worst.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think it is just in 2 chunks. You know, or is it? Fuck.
No, it is. No, I still think it is. Like, I'd still. Should I give you my list? Like, what I think it would be?
Not yet.
I mean, I'd probably. You don't want me to, no?
Not yet.
You want to do it first? Okay.
Well, no, I know what your list is. Your list is. Let me try and guess your list. Empire Strikes Back at number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is A New Hope. Number 3 is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Revenge of the Sith. Number 5 is Phantom Menace. And number 6 is Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that's exactly what my list would be.
Which I would swap currently, and this may be reviewed, I would swap Episode 1 as the worst and have Attack of the Clones just above it.
Yeah.
What's doing me in, and this is going to piss people off.
No, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi because you're thinking Ewoks, aren't you?
What? No.
Like which?
Return of... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is, number 1. Empire Strikes Back's the best one. A New Hope is definitely number 2. Nah, I can't. Can I? The Ewoks were so bad.
Come on, no, you can't do that.
They went on for fucking ages, though, James.
Yeah, I know they did, but then they also didn't have, like, Amidala saying things like, I'm so much in love.
You're absolutely right. Like They're absolutely right, but they chuck, like, stones and shit at them.
That's not as bad. It's not.
I'm gonna have to think. I can't give an answer now. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The opening battle war stuff was so good in this.
Yeah, but the battle at the end of Jedi was good as well. Come on, you've got like the confrontation between Luke and Darth Vader at the end of that. You've also got the whole attack on the Death Star. That was terrific. The only bit that was bad was the stuff on the planet.
Yeah, but there was like 20 minutes of that shit.
Yeah, but there's 2.5 hours of terrible acting in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. I think
spent the whole time slagging off like Palpatine in that film.
I need to. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, you're right. Do it. Do it. No. Yeah, that was awful. So in front of me now, courtesy of Obi Cole Kenobi on Twitter, my friend Colin. It's quite disappointing, actually. I'm a little bit disappointed. I've got The Force Awakens in front of me. That's the first one, right? That's what I'm watching next.
Yeah.
The problem is, on the back, I've seen Luke Skywalker,
okay,
Chewbacca,
yeah,
and Han Solo. So they're all in it.
Try not to look at
Who's
stuff.
That?
I mean, you can see who's on the front as well, can't you?
On the front, it is literally just says Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the picture now. Yeah, okay.
Who else is in it then?
Would you want me to tell you?
That's not supposed to be Princess Leia, is it? Is she in it?
Do you want me to tell you or not?
No.
Okay, let's just leave it at that because it's fine. Because I'm just looking at the ones you've got here.
Oh yeah, Carrie Fisher. No, her name's written on the back. Yeah, so she's.
Yeah, she's in it.
Oh great.
So we've got The Force Awakens, and then after that we'll watch Rogue One, which is the second one you got there. That's a spin-off.
Right. Okay. Rogue One. Yeah. That is set. The problem is, I've been told now that is set just how they got the plans for the Death Star. Right.
Yeah, it's basically that. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we've got The Last Jedi, and then Solo is the most recent one.
I also know that people are very, very upset about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that will be a very interesting one to talk about because
cool.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm on to the
holiday
Disney
special,
films.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, Colin would not let me leave his house without taking the holiday special. So I have got a copy here on DVD.
See, do you know,
have you got it on DVD?
I haven't. See, I kind of think if there was some way that we should watch that together, because I think that'd be quite funny, and like film it.
What, put it on YouTube? Yeah.
Something like that, because that could be quite funny.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it says on the back, there's a quote on the back of the box that I've got that says, if I had a hammer and some time, I would hunt down every bootleg copy of this film and smash it.
Yeah.
George Lucas.
yeah.
No, we'll save it for the next call, because I want to ask you about the transition between the two films. Like, what happened? Because there's how many years between the two?
You mean between the Disney films and the and the Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
Let me think. It's got to be at least 10 years or so, from what I can remember. I'd have to have a look.
Okay, I'll ask you this very quickly. Was George Lucas ever going to make the next films?
Yes, he was. And there was also, he had like ideas of where it was going to go for like episode.
Has he ever spoken about his ideas?
No, not completely. No. And apparently, when Disney bought it, they were not interested at all in whatever he had to come up with. Just went for it. That was it.
Yeah.
So Revenge of the Sith, that was out. When was this? This was 2005. That's when that was out.
Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
So Force Awakens was 2015. So yeah, 10 years.
10 years, man. I didn't realise that it's just 4 years ago that this all kicked off again.
Yeah, because Disney
Harry was alive. That's really bizarre. Harry was born.
Yeah, because Disney bought the whole thing off George Lucas, and and he was like, I'm not doing any of this anymore. It's done. I mean, that was it. And then they decided, but
we'll talk about that more.
Always like they want to know what George Lucas wanted it to be, because it was apparently quite.
He's probably signed a contract to say that he wouldn't say, right?
Yeah, I should think so. I mean, but it was. I mean, he has said that it wouldn't have been as these are. So that has also upset people.
We'll talk about that more on the next call, because I want to know how the fans reacted once it was announced that Disney had bought it. Like, I want to know all that stuff.
Yeah.
So get prepared.
Yeah, I can talk about
research on all that, because I bet that's fucking brilliant. In fact, actually, we might do that on the round table.
Yeah, because
discuss that on the round table.
Sean will probably have something to say about that as well.
Cool.
So that'd be a good idea. All right, so your next assignment is episode 7. You got to watch 7.
It's not got episode 7 on the front cover, has it? No, it just says Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah, well, it says that on the. It still has the opening crawl, which says episode 7.
That's just the sleeve. So let's have a look. Wow, they don't put episode 7 on it. That's weird.
That's weird. Yeah.
Bizarre. All right then. Okay. Well, I'll speak to you soon. Good chat. Good chat.
Yeah.
Genuine chat. I'll catch you later.
See you later.
James.
Yeah.
I love you.